I'll be sharing with you one of my favorite manifestations that happened to me last year today. It's a little bit different, but stick with me. Hey, I'm Dan. I talk about manifesting, conscious creation, intentional living, all that good stuff. So glad you're here. And today I want to do something a little bit different. I wanted to share one of my absolute favorite manifestations that happened to me last year. So I don't know if many of you know that I'm also an actor, a film and television actor. And last year, I worked on one of the most incredible projects. I had the most fun time. It's about a week in a different city. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I want to walk you through what I did every step along the way, because how it all happened, it looked like at some point it was impossible and it wasn't going to work. But I want to start from the very first step. I'm not going to go into the intricacies of what it actually looks like to book a job as an actor, because that would make this video way too long and there's so much that goes into that. But all you need to know is I auditioned for a particular show, submitted my own tape, and I got the call that I booked it. But I want to walk you through what it felt like to me between the time that I submitted my tape and I got the booking first. So last year, one time I was driving home from the gym and I was feeling just like I want to book a job. I just want to be on set again. It's been a while and I think it's time. And I was so at peace in that moment. I said, I don't care what the role is. I don't care how small or big it was. I don't care what it looks like, really. I just want to have fun. I just want it to be a great experience. I just want to be on set. I remember driving home just in that place of like, the best I can make it sound, the most similar I can make it sound is just that complete peace and serenity and gratefulness and appreciation that I get to do what I love. That's the closest feeling that I can, that I can put into words. And I just kind of just told the universe, hey, I'm ready for this. I am ready to receive. I kid you not, I get home, I get an email from my agent saying, I booked the job. Okay, so it's that simple, right? It's that easy, right? Of course. Well, here's the next part, which is the part where things get complicated and tricky, because I thought I was going to lose out on the job. So the universe that gave me the job says, hey, you booked it, right? The thing was, this job films in another city, and I need to fly to that city. It's all paid for, by the way. The expenses are paid for. But I would need to fly to that city, and that takes, a couple hours. It's not too far away. However, I did book out certain dates that I was not going to be available for because I have other responsibilities. I had to accompany someone to a medical appointment. And there was one of those days within that availability window that I said, I absolutely cannot miss this date. I booked it out well in advance, and the casting knew, the network knew. They all knew, or hopefully they knew. Normally, if there's a conflict, they just would be like, I'm sorry, can't work, won't be booked. For some reason, it flew behind the radar. And even though I booked out those dates, they still booked me on the job. So now there's a dilemma, because the filming date ended up exactly on the same day out of the 15-day window I gave them that was available. They say, hey, from this window to this day to this day, let us know your conflicts. And there were 15 days. It just so happened that the one day that I told them I absolutely could not be available for, that was the day that I was supposed to be filming and shooting. What ended up happening was that they ended up moving that filming date to the next day. So I could maybe potentially still make it. But remember, I still have to fly there. That's a problem. That's a challenge. So I talked to my agent. I was like, okay, if this is meant for me, it's meant for me. If it's not, I can't miss this medical appointment that I'm accompanying. It's really important. And, it is what it is. We'll do our best. We've done our best. There's nothing I can do right now to force and rearrange things to make it go my way. Because these things, like, it's a ton of money. Moving shoot dates and these things, you can't just be like, hey, I like this to be moved. Unless you're maybe the lead of the show or something, then maybe you have more pull. But it works around a very strict schedule. So these things usually don't move very much. So already I was able to, that shoot date was already moved to the next day. But there's still the problem was I needed to get a flight the day before, which was the day that I was unavailable, to fly out. But of course, because it's in a different city, I can't, like, you know, once I fly out. The thing was, we had an appointment with the doctors just to go over the medical appointment for the following week. And what happened was, I remember being just so at peace, being like, whatever happens, happens. If I can make it, I can make it. If I can't, I can't. I let it be. This is not my job to worry about it. The universe, take it over. Again, I'm like, universe, you've given this opportunity to me. If it was meant truly for me, it will be. And so I just let it all go. I let it all be. Again, you know, and I think the reason why I was able to, in that instant, in that moment, it was so easy for me to do this, was because, first of all, I already did this just a few days prior as I was going down, driving home from the gym. I did this in the car and I immediately saw the results from that. I think that's one of the reasons why. But the second reason why was there was literally nothing I could really do. I racked my brain around it. I'm like, honestly, there is nothing I can do. There's no physical action. It just so happened to land on the same day. It's in another city. And you'll know that most people, most actors, a lot of the things that we go out for are in the same city. So we don't need to fly anywhere. This was the first job that I had to fly somewhere out of the city to do. So that in itself was already like not something that always happens. And the universe had just put this in my lap. There must be a reason for this. You know what? It's not my job to worry about it. It's simply not my job to worry about it. It's going to sort itself out. Okay? And I said, even if I don't get this job, there will be another one that's even better, that's more suitable for me. Right? I trust in the universe. I put my full trust. And it was a simple decision. I simply decided to just let it be. Pretty crazy what happened next. What seemingly seemed like it wasn't going to be possible, the doctor just said, yeah, we're not going to do this procedure next week. We can go do something else. We're not going to do this next. We're not going to go forward with it. And in that moment, I was like, what? By the way, everything leading up to it. So before we saw the doctor, there's another doctor that saw us before, right? And so essentially what happened was the main doctor. So even up to that point, it seemed like everything was going to go as follows. Everything was going to happen according to plan. Everything that I thought in my 3D reality, that this was the way that it would make sense to continue to go, it was going. It was going in that direction. I wasn't going to be able to make it. Well, maybe if I was able to get a flight early enough to get out and fly to the city that day, maybe it was possible. But honestly, like, it was not looking like it was going to be possible. And the doctor just like, yeah, we complete 180 turnaround. Everything completely changed. Now I didn't need to be there and accompany for that medical appointment. Now my day was free. Now I was able to get on a flight earlier in the day, as planned, to be able to make the film shoot. So there's multiple challenges here too that I haven't gone in depth with. But very quickly, the other challenge was we have to do wardrobe, right? So the reason why they wanted me to fly out the day before was so that I could do my wardrobe fitting. So they put us in the clothes before we actually go on set. They like to do it the day before. Worst case scenario, if I get a late flight out, I do the wardrobe the same day as I film. Because remember, they already pushed the film date back. However, they don't like to do this. They really want you to do it the day before. And they absolutely will not let you fly in the same day that you're going to shoot. Just in case of delays, it just ruins everything. So, the way that this all happened Truly a miracle. But was it really a miracle? No. The universe had a plan. They rearranged things to make it all work out. But I still remember, I just completely was so serene. I was in a place of peacefulness and serenity, and I completely let it be. And now I take this feeling into everything I manifest. I'm not perfect at it, but because I've had this experience and know that it works, it's just additional proof. I hope this inspires you as well, but it truly inspired me because now I can use this. I made a video previously on using your manifestations as proof to manifest even more. This is what I go back to. This is the feeling I go back to because I know how it felt in that moment that I took on this new identity. That like I didn't care whether or not I got the job or not, because if I got the job, my identity would be one who is peaceful because it's already sorted, it's already done. And that is what it feels like. I know what it felt like. And I hope this is coming across. This peacefulness, this serenity. And honestly, that week when I was on the work trip, it was beautiful. The weather was incredible on the day that I was off. And on the days that I was on set, I was indoors. Maybe it got a little cloudy and rainy. But on the days I was off, the weather was gorgeous. The travel days, the weather was gorgeous. Sunny. It's warm. I met new friends, new people in that new city. I ate wonderful food. I had the most wonderful time on set. Worked with the most wonderful people. It has a special place in my heart. It was my first time, getting flown out of the city to go on a job as well. And honestly, like, it was so perfect. That week was, I felt so much absolute joy and happiness. That's the feeling I still bring into my manifestations because I know what it feels like to get a manifestation. And it feels so incredible and amazing. The things I was thinking, what I was feeling, how I was acting, how I perceived things. Everything just worked. Everything worked out perfectly. And because I've had that experience, I now can use that in my life to manifest even more. So I hope this story helps. I know it's a longer video today, but I hope this truly helps you and inspires you. That when you simply let it be and you're just in a place of peacefulness, satisfaction, serenity, it will all unfold so magically for you. Because it did for me. Even when it seemed like it was absolutely impossible. So circumstances truly do not matter in the 3D. Because the universe has a will, it has a way. I hope this helps. I'm going to leave it there. Very quickly, if you do have anything that you want me to cover, any topics on manifestation and conscious creation, leave them in the comments below. If you have any questions of your own personal situation, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, obviously it's a public forum. I try my best to answer it and get to it when I have time, and see it as a resource for you to have access to me and my knowledge and what I can do to help you. Hopefully others can see it and it can help them as well. I'll leave it there. Hope this was inspirational for you. In the future, I'm going to share more of these wonderful manifestation stories because that's just one of my favorite ones that happened recently from last year. But there are many more. And I'll see you all soon. All right, take care.